Hey guys, how's it going? It's Brandon here, and today I'll be giving you a comparison video of the iPhone 3G and 3GS versus the Motorola DROID. So, first let's just get right into it. We're going to compare the lock screen, which is the first thing you see right once you boot up the phone, even if you haven't even used it before. If it just came from the carrier, if it just came from the store or whatnot, first you're going to see the lock screen. So the iPhone is real simple. You just slide to unlock right away, and the Droid, actually, you have an option. You slide it like at an arc like that. And if you slide it this way, it'll unlock it, or if you slide it this way, it'll turn the volume on and or off, whichever one you want. So if you want it to make a noise when you unlock it, you can turn that on, or just flip it over and it won't make a noise when you turn it off. Simple as that. So really cool lock screen for the Droid. Really took the iPhone and kind of turned that into a more featured, slide to unlock, which is really nice. Not really a big feature, but also something cool to have. So next we're going to compare the browser speed, which is probably what most of you are watching this for, because that's really one of the biggest things. So the Motorola DROID, as you know, is supposed to be the fastest web browser pretty much in today's out of any phone today. Let me just say that. And I really think it's true, because I compared it with the iPhone 3G, and it is actually faster than the iPhone 3G over Wi-Fi and over 3G network. So it really is faster, and it loads up pages. It was multiple pages too. It was only by a couple seconds. The Droid actually had like a 3-second advantage over the iPhone over Wi-Fi, but then over 3G it only had it by like a couple seconds, like 1 or 2 seconds. So overall, the Droid is faster on the internet and downloading applications and things like that. And let me tell you that on the Droid, it is a lot faster downloading applications. A lot faster than the iPhone. Next, we're going to be comparing the text entry. So on the iPhone, you have a on-screen keyboard, obviously, throughout the whole thing. You have a landscape mode. You can just type, just like that. You only have one option right there, and then when you turn it in landscape, you can type like that. Now, the Droid has a on-screen keyboard for both landscape and portrait mode. So you can have an on-screen keyboard for both of those. Also, though, it does have a full slide-out keyboard, a full QWERTY keyboard, just like that. So that is a awesome feature. Really, just puts the iPhone in the dust. It just blows it back just because of the keyboard. Now, a lot of you are saying, why would a keyboard make such a difference? I don't like all that bulkiness and everything. That's just my personal opinion. You guys may be different. If you don't mind, if you don't text a lot, then you shouldn't get that, because the keyboard obviously is for people that text a lot and type a lot of things. And it may just look cool, it may just be cool for the looks, but overall, if you're not really going to use it much, I don't see the point in having the extra bulkiness in your pocket. Even though the iPhone is basically the same size, they are basically the same size, the iPhone may be actually a little bit thicker, which is really surprising. Motorola really did a great job with thinning that thing down, because it is heavy, but you can tell it's well built. It is really well built, and it just has a great solid everything around it. It really has great paint on it, and it actually has little gold plates around it, as you see on the back of it right there. It's like a little gold spot. Sorry if you couldn't see that too well. It is the speaker. So anyways, speaking of the App Store, we're going to talk about the App Store. Now, in the Android, or the Droid, the Android operating system, you do have the Android Marketplace, which is a really full-featured, a lot of applications in the Android Marketplace. But obviously, I'm just going to come right to it. The App Store, nothing will beat the App Store. I'm just going to come down to it just like that, only because the App Store has been around for a while. The Android Marketplace hasn't really been getting too much attention until recently, since the Droid did come out, and now a lot of people are getting it just because of the Droid. Everybody's starting to go to the Android Marketplace. So a lot of new applications are being made daily, actually, for the Android Marketplace, and a lot of the Android Marketplace apps are actually in the App Store. A lot of cool games, cool puzzles, cool anything you can think of. Any navigation things or whatnot. I mean, I'm not going to go into all that, but you can watch my video on I actually have an overview of the Android Marketplace. You can just go to my channel and find it on there. So, overall, I really do think the App Store is better just because of how many apps it has and because it has been around longer. But if you give the Android Marketplace time, I think the Android Marketplace will be better just because of how inside the Marketplace is actually really nice. Again, watch my video on that to see why I think the Android Marketplace will end up beating the App Store if you just give it, 10 years maybe. So, that's just my thoughts. You may think different. Next, we're going to go into customization. Sorry, basically on the iPhone 3G and the 3GS. Well, actually, let me just talk about the iPhone. The iPhone 3G, or the 1G to the 3G, 1G, 2G, and 3G. In case you couldn't understand that, you can only move icons around. That's basically the only customization you could do unless you are jailbroken. Which I mean, I'm not gonna go out and say that they're going to let you. So I'm just going to compare it just from the factory settings on the iPhone. You can only move icons around. That's it. You only have certain home screens, and you can only move it around. You can't change your background or anything. Only you can change your lock screen. That's the only thing you can change is the background on your lock screen. Now on the Droid, you can actually change the background, and you can buy themes from the App Store. You can actually buy themes from the App Store and different icons and everything for the Droid, which is really nice. You also have 3 different widgets, which I will show you real fast. Right here from the top, you can actually pull that down. Ooh, sorry if you can't even see that. You can actually pull it down. You have a full thing right there, and then you just go back, and you can also push up, and you'll have a whole nother screen. So if you push up, another screen will appear right there, and then you have all your pages right here. So overall, I think the Droid definitely takes the customization to another level, and it definitely beats the iPhone 3G. Now, the 3GS has one feature that wasn't in the 3G, which is the white on black transparent, background where it's white in the background, which really not that big at all. The Droid definitely takes customization over the iPhone, no doubt. So next we're going to be talking about navigation. The iPhone 3G didn't even have navigation really, unless you bought the app and whatnot. And the iPhone 3GS, actually the iPhone 3G and any iPhone had, the Maps application, which it gave you, maps and everything, but it didn't give you turn-by-turn navigation, which the Droid, the Motorola DROID, gives you turn-by-turn navigation. It actually has a speaking lady on there, and it is really great. And guess what? It's free. Google started this whole thing, and I think it's going to be really successful. There's a little bit of bugs, but it's in beta stages. So, obviously, guys, the Droid takes the navigation over the iPhone, no doubt. Only because it does give turn-by-turn navigation, and you have layers, and you have all kinds of other things in that as well, which is really, really nice. And turn-by-turn navigation, nothing beats that. Nothing beats, actually, it's better than most of the GPS systems in cars and everything like that. So, definitely the Droid takes it over the iPhone for navigation. So, next we're going to be talking about the picture and the video and the quality of each as well. Now, the iPhone 3G, all the iPhones before the 3GS did not have a video camera, which was, really upsetting, and all the iPhone owners were wanting it so bad. And so they finally decided to step it up and put it in the 3GS, and they really stepped it up because it was great, outstanding quality. It was actually better than a lot of people's cameras that they bought for $500, and they have it just in their phone, and they can send it right to YouTube. Now, the Droid, and also guys, let me just point out that on the iPhone, any iPhone, on the camera, not the video camera, just the camera, does not even have zoom. Okay, it doesn't have zoom, it doesn't have flash, and it basically doesn't have anything. So the Droid, on the other hand, the camera has zoom. It could really zoom in real far. It has flash, has autofocus, it has pretty much everything a full featured camera would have, like one of the Sony mini cameras that you would pick up. It has basically the same features as that. And also the video camera on the Droid shoots in DVD quality video, which you guys will see a video test coming up soon on that. And it may beat the iPhone, it may not. Also from the Droid, you can send the videos right to YouTube just as you can from the iPhone 3GS, which you could not do in the iPhone 3G because obviously you didn't even have a video camera unless you bought an application or whatnot. But like I said, I'm only going on factory settings throughout this. So overall, guys, I think the iPhone, if you have used an iPhone for a while, I know for sure, for a fact, you will think it is getting stale. If you've used it for over a year, over a year, maybe 2 years, the iPhone gets so stale, it's not even, fun anymore. It's not, you can't do anything. It's just, apps in the App Store, that's it. And, unless you jailbreak or whatnot, I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying that's the only part that makes it fun, really. But on the Droid, you actually have all kinds of customization features. You have the hold the home button and it shows your most viewed, your most opened applications, and you can just easily tap on it. So it's like shortcuts. It's really easy, and the Droid, I do not see it getting stale for a while. So now it comes down to the final question. Would I rather you get an iPhone 3G or 3GS or a Motorola Droid? Now let me just take the iPhone 3G out of the picture, because I'll just tell you right now, do not get the iPhone 3G. Get the 3GS if you're going to get an iPhone. But let me tell you right now, if you are on at&t then and you're wanting the iPhone, then I would say, well, it really depends on your guys' contract. I do not think that going from Verizon, I don't think if you're on Verizon, you've always wanted the iPhone your whole life, I think you should go with the Droid. If you're on at&t, I would recommend switching over and getting the Droid, only because it has everything the iPhone doesn't. It's much better, and it runs so smooth and fast on the Droid. So unless you have like a huge family plan with at&t, I would get the iPhone, but just be looking to get, after your 2 years is up or whatever, I would convince your family or your parents or whatever you have that with the plan, co-workers or whatever, to switch to Verizon, only because Verizon has way better coverage, way better 3G, way better everything. I mean, at&t is by far worse than Verizon. Verizon is definitely the best network carrier out there right now. So guys, I recommend the Droid over the iPhone. Again, that's just my personal opinion, but I would take my opinion because I have actually dealt with both of them for some time. So that's my comparison video, guys. The iPhone 3GS versus the Motorola Droid. And I hope this helped you guys. If it did, please rate, comment, subscribe. Check out bbsiPodTouchUp.com. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.